He went to a British school, bro. He just came out with an Indian accent.
For a while, like I was like a few months I had an Indian accent, and I was like, wait, what's going on?
My mom used to take my old shirts and fucking clean the AC with it.
Bro, it's the best thing to do the front.
Bro, straight away, it's like, do you want this? Like, nah.
Yeah, literally.
To be honest, like, even you correct me if I'm wrong, like, I never thought this could be a career.
Eat chai, eat coffee, eat chai, correct chai.
What do you think the one song that you've been? What do you think the song that you released, out of all the songs you've released, which one do you think is most, like you have the most emotional attachment to?
I think, wow. Bro, like every song really uplifted me in some way, right? Like for me, Batali was my first song I ever did, and it took me somewhere else. Like it got me to perform, you know. And for me, it's always gonna be that track that it changed everything, you know. I saw people like singing along to a track. Bro, I recorded it. It's not even on the studio. It's like it was like a fucked up laptop with no screen. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those like ghetto things, and you see people actually singing along to it. It got me to understand like you don't need crazy equipment to create a song or to get like people to like it. But the song that actually made me an artist, obviously, is Wala Kilma, right? Like that made me tour, got me to the UK to perform, you know. And it's always gonna be that track, you know. Yeah. But everyone kind of changed something in me.
What was it about? What was it about that track? That got you traveling around the world? Like I get Dubai, like that was big for Dubai, because like everybody resonated with it. Everyone fucked with it.
Yeah. I don't
Touring?
Bro. I didn't even know.
In my opinion,
if I told you to create it again, I'll tell you I don't even know.
I think it was a cultural thing, like that. It went from just like local, like GCC, everyone understood it, to like everyone who speaks Arabic or knows Arabic was like.
And bro, I remember like how like I start seeing memes. People start sending me memes from like the UK. They start writing, yo, there's like Arabara drill is fucking fire.
Arabic drill.
They didn't even write Arabic. They wrote like Kharabala drill or whatever. Like, you know, these things, and it got like 1 million views on Instagram. This just certain meme.
You're smart with the way you also do it, because the memes went crazy where like these UK blogs were like, oh, Arab, but then you hit up UK artists and you made a UK remix.
Because I'm in tune anyway. Like if I know the whole UK scene and I know a couple of artists there. So if that happened, I know how to network. And then again, because I'm into music, like if I was an artist, like a guy that doesn't know anything about the UK, I don't even know how to communicate that. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll be like, okay, cool, you know? But the lingo is like, I know how to speak, bro, because I really, thanks to being in Dubai, bro, like I'm too diverse to the extent that you can throw me anywhere, I probably know something, you know what I mean? You throw me in Italy, I was in the street in Italy, met a couple of Moroccans, you know what I mean? I spoke Arabic, but they're like, oh, fuck, this, you know? Like, and it gets people together. It's just because of Dubai. Like, Dubai's so diverse. Like, you know Moroccan in your life, you know Egyptian in your life, you know a Filipino in your life. So whoever you meet, you can keep a conversation.
Facts. That is something that like I feel like Dubai gave me that skill to do. Like I can talk to anyone from any culture, bro. And like my accent will change based on where you're from. For no reason, dog. Like for no reason, I'm saying Bebzi.
My homies took me to Philippines once in 2019, right? Whenever I meet the Kuyas and the anywhere I go, I'm like, yo, I'm from Taguig. That's my hood.
Bro, I used to see you in the court, bro, when the basketball, when the Filipino guys used to come in, and there was, bro, he would not walk up, point with his lips. Yeah. He'd look over, but different.
Actually, the connection is different.
Bro, we grew up trying to seek validation from outside. Like,
that's a good way to
so we just used to study everything. You study how these guys speak, how the British will speak, how the American will sound like, how the Canadian will sound. Because we needed that.
We're,
communicate with
we're
people here,
chameleons, literally. 'Cause
Yeah,
I remember there was one time I had an Indian accent. I swear to God.
I can vouch for that.
I do.
I had an Indian accent.
But the thing is, a lot of my friends went to Indian school. Like a lot of my friends back, like in Abu Dhabi, they used like they're Arab, fully Arab, right? Fully.
Mm-hmm.
They went to Indian school.
Word.
That's another crazy ass shit.
He didn't. He went to a British school, bro. He just came out with an Indian accent.
For a while, like I was like a few months I had an Indian accent, and I was like, wait, what's going on?
Bro, I saw his head nod a couple of times. I was like, yo, chill out.
And then what happened?
I don't know.
How did it
It just
evolve?
switches.
The dreads came out.
I
remember.
Bomba club.
That's crazy.
But
But bro, like I blame music for getting people to their culture, really. Because I remember back in the days, I used to know a lot of Nigerians, right? They never used to speak in a Nigerian accent. Say 60 years ago, 70 years ago, 8 years ago, right?
And now,
Or now, because obviously
Now it's cool.
Burna Boy is fucking the thickest artist, so now it's like cool to be where you're from, and it happened to a lot of like nationality, like you know what I mean, because music started to
But
be.
you know that this is interesting you saying that. Like you're talking about how like we're all raised like to try to like look up to everyone outside.
Yeah.
But now you kind of like turn that around and be like, now fuck that. Like this, like
Yeah.
I'm Dubai.
Yeah,
Where did that change?
You need,
'Cause
you need
have
to get a slap in the face,
Yeah. What was that?
a wake up call. Like you're never gonna be American. You're never gonna be Canadian. You're never gonna be British. Like, there's something even if I moved out now, like if you go out there, bro, do you know what I mean? Like it gets something. You're like, even in art is so sensitive that if you fake it, people are gonna see it. You know? That's why you see a lot of people rapping in like fucked up English accent. And I'm like, guys, what are you doing? Sing in your native, you know, if you can pull it, just go back, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you trying to, but he's like, yo, but this is the way to make it. Like, this is the only way to make it. But it's wrong, bro. It's fully wrong.
But what was that slap in the face moment for you that made you be like, oh shit, like I need to be?
No, bro, being unemployed, bro, like I think like it was just one of the lowest thing of my life. Like just being unemployed. I didn't even fucking go to uni. I didn't even have visa back then. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even have visa that time. Like I was just one of the, like, you know what I mean? Just trying to get by every day,
when you think about stuff like that, bro, like, isn't that crazy? Like
it's crazy.
Like
It's
we would be doing the most without a visa.
Bro,
The absolute most.
But bro, that's hunger, and there's only
real.
one way. Like
For real.
yeah, it was a one way. Like bro, there's no.
You know,
bro,
you know,
can't go
Seki,
back home.
you know, Seki didn't have a visa for 10 years.
Bro, why are you putting business out like that, man?
He has one now. It's fine.
Wait, he's about to get a call from.
He paid the fine. It's fine. It's
No,
cool.
it's cool, bro.
It's like you about to get a call.
Bro, at the end of the day, listen,
All about court.
it happened. You know what I mean?
He paid the fine, dog.
Bro, they will catch you regardless. Like, you can't even. Yeah.
When I went to Bombay the last time, I met this girl from Red Bull, India, and she was telling us about like what they do with the artists. Like they invest in art, like an artist, an athlete, and a break dancer every year, and they fund everything from equipment to training to to branding this person, to like his craft or her craft, and like just work on that person. So, and I was looking at the scene over there. I was like, these guys are eons ahead of what we're doing. Like that was the first time I kind of realized that like this is the start. Like we're just getting started.
I don't know if that's true, to be honest, because my experience with Red Bull was very similar. Working here with them, where I actually had crowdfunded my first record, and then I met one of them, the brand person who came up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're doing really cool things. You should come talk to us." I was like, I didn't know that was an option. Like I didn't even know if I could do that. It's like, no, come by. Let's just talk and figure stuff out. And we actually just started talking about what it is that I want to do as an artist. And they were part of every music video idea that I had. I never found a great venue for singer-songwriters to perform. It was either like these huge stadiums or like really shitty bars where everybody's smoking, because you could smoke in bars then. It's like, how do you sing when people are smoking in your face?
You still can smoke in
Yes.
bars.
It's crazy. Like, it's bad enough that it's like, a stage smoke, and then there's people smoking and talking anyway. That's a whole other rant. But I was thinking, oh, there's movie theaters. It'll be really cool to turn a movie theater into a concert hall, and do like a crazy show with like, you know, using the projector and the screen and lighting. And I told them that. They're like, okay, let's do it. So we actually put it together from scratch. It was a sold out show, and it was really fun. So they had that spirit. They did Red Bull Music Academy, where they brought down all these incredible producers from all over the world, and we all got together. They like paired musicians here, where we like made songs on the fly for a week. It was incredible. So I actually think that just because it's not talked about, it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And I think that we just have more platforms now to talk about stuff, and people can make a scene about it. But we did some really cool shit that didn't get documented, but it did like really develop us as artists. So I don't agree with you.
It's a casual flex about the crowdfunding.
I'm always upset. Like, there's a lot of stuff that people don't know right now that happened back in the days. And
like
like,
the
I'm
gigs
like,
we were talking about at the, we did like, there were no venues, so we were performing at art galleries because we're like, fuck it, we'll just perform anywhere.
yeah.
We just need to perform. And it was really fun. I think one of the things you brought up was like super true, is that such a sense of camaraderie, and everybody was very into, okay, what are you doing? Okay, like, can we collaborate on something?
Yeah.
And that happened very naturally and organically. Like,
so cool.
I'm this like Indian girl who's like singing, you know, Carnatic music, you know, influenced. And like, I met Swerte, and he was like, let's do a hip hop record. I was like, oh, okay, sure. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But it worked because everyone was just so excited about, you're an artist, I'm an artist. Let's just go do shit, you know? So yeah.
Coffee, chai, chai.
Before you did your first soul gig, what was the biggest gig prior to that?
None. I think that was my first ever like festival.
It must have been nuts.
It was crazy, bro. I think, yeah.
What was that like?
But the thing is, I think I performed this soul in 2016. I had like a 10-minute set at like 5:30 p.m. And that was kind of like crazy for me because it's like, it's a big stage, you know what I mean, whatever. And then fast forward 2019, I had like the proper set. Like peak time, and I knew what to do, obviously, because I've been to the stage before, so it was like, I liked it that way, because I was just comfortable.
Yeah, it's like different facets of it all. Like, you've done it in like a small set as well as this fucking massive.
Yeah, the first time I got on with a USB. Listen, who should I give this to? That's crazy, literally. I didn't know what to do.
But you know, I was thinking about that when I heard the song you dropped, Maradona.
Yeah.
And it, like, essentially, I mean, not to speak about your song for you, but I mean, from what I got of it, there was a lot of like started from nothing, and now this is what like that shit.
Rephrasing Drake, bro. This is rephrasing Drake.
And to not use Drake in that. But
It started from the bottom, now we're here. Might as well have said it, bro.
Yeah, it's just a different culture. To be honest, like, we all grew up with football, so the right collab should be literally, if I want to do anything in Italy, it should be about football. And, I think that meant a lot. It just out of my comfort zone. I'm in a different country with people that with different language. People didn't know what the fuck is a Dubai artist. You know what I mean? Like, who are you guys, really? And it's nice, like, to hear it from them, to see like, okay, there's a community, there is festivals that happens in the city, you know? And like, I always say, like, one hand can't clap alone. Like, if you guys don't do stuff, if Namdi's not doing music, you know, if Gaya didn't even start music back then, like, I think I was like 17 when I saw you perform. Do you know what I mean? No way. Yeah.
Thanks for aging me.
With Young Vaughn, right? Like, that's how I got involved in this whole thing.
That was a fun gig.
Yeah.
what do you think is different between a Freek and other local artists that are performing? Because like you are one of the names and the faces of like the industry scene in today's like Dubai, right? Like why is that the case with you and then not somebody else? That's not to take anything away.
No, bro. It's easy. Like I always get this question. Even I try to ask myself this question all the time. You're like, okay, cool. Like, I'm sure there's a younger artist gonna come and probably like he's gonna outshine everything I do, right? How can I stay relevant? How can I think, bro, like try to stay consistent every year, and then I just let it go, you know? And I didn't really think about anything else, you know? Because at the end of the day, bro, I'm a fan of this. Like if another artist comes on and he's fucking sick, you know, I'm probably gonna be a fan of this person, like how I used to be a fan of all the artists that actually started it. And people don't understand this thing. Like my main thing, the reason why I knew what to do is because I used to see a lot of artists like Hamdan, you know, Abri, you know, Recipe, all of these guys, bro. Like, and people don't even see past 10 years. Like, this shit has been going on for 15, 20 years, right? Like I used to see Kaz on TV. What? Kaz money on TV? What? This guy just lives out here, right? And that was like the beginning of something can happen. You can actually be an artist. You can have a career, but it took time, obviously. But I think the main thing is just you have to be a fan of anything that comes from the city. You have to actually attend. You have to actually like share. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm lucky because I used to get a lot of love from people not from the industry. There's literally people from the street, really. You know, like those are like, they didn't even have Spotify. They have Bluetooth. They just send each other music. Do you know what I mean? Like people that they might not even see me perform in a festival because they can't even, they don't even have that money, you know? 300 dirhams is too much. Most of these shows I perform, my fans are not even there because my fans live in probably like, do you know what I mean? One of those is Sharjah, you know what I mean? In Abu Dhabi, like downtown Abu Dhabi, do you know what I mean? So,
So what gig would you do to get those people?
I feel like you need to do like
free gigs. Like
yeah.
I did the free gig in Abu Dhabi one time. Insane.
Crazy, huh?
Crazy, yeah. Bro, we didn't even continue performing. Security like, oh, shut this shit up. It's one of those, like, it's just cheap security, cheap stage, do you know what I mean? And it's like 400 people in front. They're like, yo.
But do you prefer those gigs?
I love it. Yeah, obviously. Bro, I'm telling you that. These guys know song by
Word for
song,
word, bro.
lyric by lyric. And these guys, like you see, like, these are the direct fans.
You know, I've always thought about this, like as an artist, like being on stage and performing your music and having a crowd of people singing your song back to you.
Yeah. It's insane, man. I'm like, bro, one of the crazy shit, you get addicted to it, you know?
For real.
Yeah, you start writing songs based on that. And oh shit, people are gonna actually sing that part now. You know what I mean? You love it. Yeah.
What was the first time that happened?
I think it was like, yeah, that was the first gig that F1 fan zone in Abu Dhabi. And people like literally, we had only like 2 songs, bro. We performed Batali like 7 times. People kept saying, yo, rewind this shit. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, one more time. And yeah, we just performed like 3 times and then screwed like, yo, cut this shit out. Get out of here.
I'm sick of hearing this shit, dog. 7 times.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You know, people didn't even care. Like, they really wanted to hear it. And bro, like, for them to see someone from the city that speaks the same lingo be on stage, to them is everything, you know?
You know, I think that's what it is. Like that's what resonates with people. But I also do think that like music is one of the few, or maybe might be the only thing I can think of that has that element of like seeing a whole crowd know word for word what the fuck you said. Like, could you imagine as a comedian pull up on stage and everyone's just like reciting your jokes back to you?
Yeah, I was just thinking that, like, if that was on the reverse side,
That'd
like,
be terrible.
Well, like if I was singing and they're singing lyrics back, it's like a completely different world, 100%. I was gonna ask you a question because like growing up here as well, like it's exactly that. It's people you grow up with and you go like, well, you know, we got Hassan Matar together like after playing football once, and now he's there. Like, that's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
So like, would you want to do more free shows like that, or not necessarily free, but because that's a cultural thing. That's like that's culture. That's pure culture, and that's what people respect more than anything else.
Yeah.
So would that be something that you want?
I would love it, you know. But it's always chaos. Like these shows are always chaos because it brings like the rawest people on stage, like people that never went to a concert, you know. They you know, and it's funny, like it's literally that's like my direct fans, you know, the same demographic that I actually wish to see them on every show. It's hard to find something in the middle. Not a big festival with a lot of money, and not a place that have no stage or, do you know what I mean? Like I always try to really and truly, I always try to run away from a 21 above concerts or shows. Do you know what I mean? Because literally I know I just cut 50% of my fans. Do you know what I mean? Like, cause no, they will never show up to a club. Most of them are underage, anyways, and that's the core fans.
Yeah, I remember going to back when like Travis wasn't really well known. He did on the Corniche, Abu Dhabi Corniche. He did a free show.
Yeah. Oh man, bro, I was there.
Yeah, you were there. That was wild. He
Beats on the beach.
brought one of the kids up, gave him his jersey, and he did the whole of 90210.
People will never believe.
Yeah.
Like these things used to be free. Like they will never believe. Like I saw Travis for free in like 2016.
Beats on the
It was a while ago.
Yeah, Beats on the Beat. Yeah, they brought J. Cole as well. J. Cole, bro, blew my mind.
But I see why they stopped it though, because it was crazy.
I think it's just different direction. Really,
Yeah, it made no.
they spent a lot of money.
But it made no sense really, because I remember when Travis came, we're all turning up, and there was a baby carriage next to me,
Yes.
and then we're like, okay, like,
I just remember seeing it. There was a dad who was just there, like, no idea who's on. This guy's like,
But these
60
things
years old.
was needed for the city because people didn't understand. Like you needed to educate people how to act in shows.
Yeah.
Like we used to see some wild things.
Really?
People covered up in scarves and just harassing people.
Really?
What?
Like that's back in the days. Like you
Yeah,
will
yeah,
never
yeah.
see these things. People are like,
Because they were exposed to it.
yeah, but you need to, because that's the thing. Like it wasn't a waste. They needed to educate people. Like there's something called concerts. You know what I mean? If you're a fan of someone, you should go and watch. Really.
But you think that was the thought process going into it? Like there was a plan behind it? Like,
100%.
the introduction.
I used to see myself. I used to be the most ignorant person when it comes to these. You know what I mean? I didn't see someone perform before, you know. So when they tell me, "Yo, there's a free show to go," I'm like, I don't care who's performing. I was just gonna go, you know.
Yeah, because you didn't fuck around and you're with your boys as well, so you go wild.
They go crazy, and like after a while, I'm like, oh, shit, okay,
you can't act like
Yeah.
this.
you can't act like that, yeah. And when they dropped New School Cool, like that was the first time like seeing people perform from the city. It was it was really nice.
I mean, I feel like the three of you at least can have like a perspective on this. But like, what's your take on local artists here in Dubai? Like the way that they're going, or the transition that they're making now into it. Where you're seeing in comparison when y'all go up.
To be honest, bro, like right now, no one, like it's very rare for someone to be like, I want to be called a Dubai-based artist.
Yeah.
I think everyone's trying to run away from that title and say I'm an international artist. I'm just based here, you know.
So why did you want to?
I didn't have a choice. So I'm born
Raised here,
born here,
yeah.
born and raised here. I didn't know any other language at the beginning. That was how I used to speak, you know. So when I made music, I'm like, it's only right to speak the same lingo. Do you know?
When he makes music, he talks about his experiences.
Mm.
You know, like a song like Batali. Batali is one of my favorite songs from Freek, because Batali if you translate it from Arabic, is like the slang, Arabic slang, it's like jobless. You know, unemployed. And he made a song about being unemployed at an age and trying to get a job, but like we're having fun with it anyways. You know, and so a lot of people related with it, because when we're growing up here, we use Arabic slangs like Batali. You know, like he makes a song called Batali, bro. Like we're all fucking with it. You know.
And I really didn't want to have attention from the mass, to be honest. I just wanted to make a few people from the city laugh and be like, oh shit, that's me. Let me play it to my friends. I didn't really want to perform. I didn't want to do none of this shit, you know?
Freak. This wasn't like the plan.
Yeah.
This whole like starting from nothing and now here I am. That must be something that plays in their head.
Yeah.
A lot. Why is that?
I don't know, to be honest. So, like, for me, it might sound different from anyone else. Like, I would like someone else to actually answer this question, you know? For me, again, like, I didn't know anything else. I couldn't go to another country and be like, hey, I want to start my career in the States or Canada or the UK. Like, I didn't have any other choice other than just try to do it here, pursue it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm on to the next one.
I'll try to answer it for you.
Yeah.
Because you did really start from the bottom. And with you, it's always been about fun. You just have fun with it. Because he wasn't even rapping, honestly. Alonzo was a rapper. Alonzo, the one-way ticket guy. Yeah. He was a star. Right? And that's one thing. If he stuck with it, that guy could have blown like crazy. And you know that too. Alonzo was talented.
100%. 100%.
Freek used to make videos, right? He used to do pranks. That was his thing. Freek was like the funny guy. I used to make videos and pranks and everything. And it was you and Alonzo. Yeah. And then when people were like, yo, who's the star? It'd be Alonzo's a star. Freek is his boy, makes videos and funny pranks and all this stuff. But you stuck with your guns. You just want to have fun.
Yeah.
And
bro, to be honest, we all grew up in the same area, right? So we should do the same thing we're doing now. So whoever has a talent, so he's gonna get to this in this circle, right? So I was the guy that shoot videos. I'm like, yo, let's shoot a music video for you. And he's like, man, I don't want to do none of this. You know what I mean? I just rap for fun. I'm like, let's try to shoot something. Obviously, I wanted someone to shoot it, and so that I think that was the start of everything. Like for someone that had a niche market, he had a huge fan base in the street. Like
everyone
he didn't know anything about Dubai. He didn't know there's a festival called Soul. He didn't know anything. He was just doing his own thing. It has a niche market, Arabic rap in the street or whatever. So when his fans saw there's a clean music video out, that went crazy, right? And then just the domino effect. Saudi caught it to it, like Qatar, Bahrain, you know? And that's it. Even though the song got like 500,000 in like a month, back then, it's like 10 years ago, it's like
a lot. That was
crazy, right?
We're all like, what the hell?
He's like, yeah, cool.
Now,
you know, it's like, all right.
It's still a big number now.
I mean, 500,000 back in the days is like,
Whereas like 50 million to us.
Yeah.
like,
We're all confused.
you know,
What the hell's going on here?
not anymore, bro. Like, it's just different. Like, you can have all the talent. Like that taught me, you can have all the talent. If you don't have work ethic, if you don't have a vision, you can't make it.
There's two things I want to talk to you about. The first thing, before we get into the other things, your collaboration with Durex.
Yeah.
You know, Vibes.
Yeah.
How did that come about in the first place?
Oh,
I mean, not that you were the last person I started to see on Durex, but like, it was
I mean,
it's like a collab.
It was one picture at 2 a.m.
They're like, his name is Freek. He must be a freak. He must be freaky. Let's give this freaky ass nigga some gun. Chill out.
like, I remember, I think Vice hit me up when the piece of idea, like they're trying to do Durex Records. It's a whole campaign of like they're literally collabing with each artist to create a song from scratch, and they shoot a music video. That's it. That's gonna come out soon, hopefully. And bro, for me, like, I don't really see a lot of brands doing such things. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really see stuff that people tell you, hey, what are you trying to do? You know, like, what are you trying to do? You know, and like, for me, I know how it is. I know how the perspective of it. But like, for me, if I see I can actually excel in my art or something, bro, I'll go all the way. Go all the way.
When we got here, we were so surprised. Like, there were so many Filipinos. We arrived at around, say, 3 a.m. We go to a convenience store and there is a Filipino aisle.
A what?
A Filipino.
What's going on?
Then I go to big supermarket and there's a Filipino section. Whoa. And then every day, it was a 3-day pop-up. There was like a 30 wait list. And I was just serving them soup and they were crying. There was this one lady, it was a 3-day pop-up.
Crying? They said crying?
They
They said
were crying,
who was crying? The people. They were eating the soup.
Food from...
How good it is.
No. It was how...
That's very
Wait, for real?
It was just... I guess they missed home so bad.
Authenticity.
Yeah, and it reminded... It's I guess, as an artist, also, you know, music or food is not just about... It's beyond the flavor. It's beyond the sound. It's like what you feel, right? It's emotion. It's nostalgic. So I guess that lady, I remember her face. She was eating the soup, and she was just. Maybe she remembered her.
That's content, like that. Bro, that's straight content. Like, you
Right.
should have filmed that.
That's right.
It's like I was cooking.
Yeah, it's
Filmed.
Say, oh y'all bitch ass chefs. You ever made someone cry? This is what I do. JayP, bitch.
There was this one lady that drove like 2 hours to get to the event, and then she arrived on a Monday. So the pop-up was done, and then she stayed in a hotel because she lived out of town. Anyway, I walked in the restaurant. Event is over. She was eating rice and the vinegar that we made. And I'm like, wait, there's more. Let me check. I think there's more food. She just wanted a piece of home. So that was then I realized that, all right, I'm not cooking for myself. Like what you said earlier, I'm cooking for my people. And my perspective in as a chef just changed. And I said, all right, maybe it was just a fluke, this pop-up. Let's try to do it again. So after 3 months, luckily the group invited us again. And then it was a 1 week pop-up and it was still full. And then we said, all right, we're setting up something here. And my wife and I just decided, let's do it.
You were talking about like food having a nostalgic element and stuff. What's your comfort food?
Wow. Well, this was pretty
This is
good.
bang.
What's my comfort food?
There's something like
Chinese food. Chinese food. Like at the end of the day, or if I can't think of what to eat, or at the end of a long shift, like preparing, like I say complicated food because there's so many steps when we cook. There's so many, I mean, it's not much ingredients, but there's just so many layers of flavor. Yeah, I'd say like a good fried rice or a good dumpling, a nice soup. I don't know, maybe my dad's Chinese and I grew up, my grandfather, I would always go up to his house and my aunt would always cook good Chinese food. And I guess it's nostalgic.
Nostalgic, yeah.
It's also the cuisine that made me really interested in cooking. Just watching the Chinese chefs, holding the wok with a fire.
but
and
it looks so intense.
Yeah.
No, they look calm. They're just doing the thing.
Yeah.
Cigarette. Fucking up. There's an Asian comic who was talking about. He's like, you have these like 5 Michelin star restaurants, like tattooed like Swedish artists, like cutting like stressed out over like a 4 ingredient 5-cent menu, and you have like a Chinese chef who's just like one guy making like 55 recipes, and the same goes smoking a cigarette, like easy, calm,
And it's tasty.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Everything's in the same pot. The wok gives you the flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
My grandma's been using the same pan for the last 50 years. I swear down, bro. Like, there's rust in the bottom of it. It's flavor. Iron with potassium all inside. Like,
So what's your comfort food?
everything. It's honestly, to be fair, yeah. But
Was it last
Chinese
night?
food, my genuine comfort food, it's always gonna be like traditional like Lebanese cuisine. Like my grandma's cooking, not even like the stuff like hummus fattoush, like not this meza that everyone knows, but like there's traditional like there's something called sheikh and mahshi, which is like not a very common thing, but it's like fried eggplant with like minced meat and tomato sauce and chili and stuff like that. But if I had to pick a cuisine to stick to, it'd have to be Chinese, honestly. I don't know what it is, but like my problem is
Must be
Chinese
the
Indian food.
MSG.
It's a problem.
Yeah,
It's the
for
MSG,
sure.
but again, when you go to India, you have like so many different varieties as well. But I would say like the south of India, like that has to be, because seafood's my favorite, and like that's my thing. Like, so when I went to a friend's house while I was in India, and so his mom is from Kerala and his dad is, I think, from USSR, the United States of Rajasthan. Like,
Wow.
that's what he says. He goes like, he's like, Rajasthan is not India. Rajasthan is Rajasthan.
Sounds Rajasthani.
That's the thing. And his mom made us something like, it was fish like cut open with a lot of chili, covered in a banana leaves, and then like baked for I don't know how long. Like you picked up the skin, the fish didn't come with it. Like it's like it fell apart. And that was like having that seafood and with enough chili, because like I like my shit spicy. I'm like celebrating with it. No joke. I think it was one of the best things I ever had. And then I discovered Parsi food that trip as well. So like India was like a revolutionary food trip for me. But like I have to throw it back to like my grandma's cooking, because there was always like a lot of like love when it came from that. Like, and I was always like, I was the only boy in my family, so it's like
They're feeding you.
you must eat, like as if I'm training for a fucking weightlifting competition. But yeah, so it's definitely like Middle Eastern to like close Eastern food. That's like my entire shell.
Freek, with you, we were talking about starting from the bottom with music.
Yeah.
But with cooking and being a chef, I feel like that's one of the other only industries where you're not gonna get to the top unless you put like the groundwork heavily. Like you go crazy with the, you gotta anyone at the top, especially with cooking, you start at the bottom.
Yeah.
And you gotta start at the bottom. There's no skipping. You can't skip. You just gotta go from place to place.
I feel like any industry you can't skip.
Some industries you can skip.
Most industries you can't, because like
But cooking you cannot skip. like you just have to put it. You have to put in the work.
No, but I guess in general, like in life, I mean, you gotta go through the process to become
Yeah.
who you are, right? You gotta experience failure before you succeed,
Right.
and that's how you succeed is by overcoming failure and obstacles, right?
Did you hit a failure point?
Oh, a lot of times,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any iconic
Is it
one
really?
that stood out?
Is it really failure?
I mean, when I say,
How you see it? Right?
I mean, I got fired a few times. You know,
It's probably a good thing though.
yeah, I don't regret anything. You know, I mean,
Is there one that like stands out specific that like really had an impact on the rest of your career?
wow. I mean, I was at one point in my life, I studied and lived in Australia for 5 years, and I was at one time I was working in front of the beach, and while all my colleagues were on their break would go surfing, I'd still be in the kitchen just prepping because I was so slow, and it was just a tough road. I mean, you were talking about celibacy earlier, like. I was celibate for a long time because I was just in the kitchen. I had no life. Like I was just in the kitchen, and I said I wanted to earn my stripes. You know, I wanted to get my ass kicked. You know, I mean, I wanted to go through the process, and that I think that's what toughened me up. And right now, I mean, I'd like to say I can deal with whatever. You know, challenges.
Just to give you some reference, I don't think you would like you heard, but Namdi was talking earlier about how he was celibate for like
For a little bit. I'm sorry. I feel like this bird is trying to kill us. What's going on?
Fine, fine.
It's just a little bird, but you can take it. You can take it. You can take it. This bird is crazy. Anyways, sorry.
yeah. So Namdi was talking earlier about him being celibate for like 8 months, which we'll pretend it was. But you know, like it got me thinking, and like and even what you were saying, like there comes a time, like if you really want to dive into your career, like all the other bullshit outside has to come to a stop for a little bit because you don't have the fucking time to do shit. And I think so that there's times in your career where, like you have to come to okay, like what do I want more? I think that's sometimes the hardest conversation to have with yourself.
How bad you want it?
Yeah, and it's not easy at all. Not at all. Like some people get into something with all the wrong reasons, but then if you have all the right reasons and your why is pretty solid, then no matter what, you know, you push through.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just about like what you said earlier, like you're just because you just want to sing or you just want to make people happy. So
it was so simple. I was like, I didn't really see this. Well, to be honest, like, even you correct me if I'm wrong, like I never thought this can be a career in the country. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, let alone like getting a golden visa and all these things, like just being a person that created music from here and performing here and get like shows abroad. Like that was just, you know what I mean? And bro, I was probably like, you need to have a bit of imagination, really, like a huge, for someone around to be like, man, you're just nuts, you're nuts. You know, I mean, you're wasting your time. As soon as you start getting these comments, you start to know like, gosh, okay, like I'm the only guy that sees this. Let me try to see if it works, you know? And then again, I didn't really have I didn't have nothing else. Like, I didn't have nothing else. Do you know what I mean? And that, I think, I love that because I really didn't have anything else. So I was just doing what I wanted to do. I didn't have any distraction. No one's going to tell me, yo, come pull up at the club. No, like, obviously, like, the friends around me, but, like, no one is going to tell me to do anything else other than editing or try to find out how to edit videos or find out, like, what kind of lens does this, you know? So you have to be a bit of a geek, I think, to make it, you know?
Definitely a level of obsession you have to have,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, really.
For sure. And, like, a level of identity crisis because you're trying to figure out what you want to be and, like, how that kind of corrupts you along the way. And then you're like, kind of, okay, you drown out all the noise. Yeah. This is me, you like it, you don't like it.
And I think
that's the hardest one,
like,
for me.
I loved it that people thought I was crazy. Like, I loved it that people didn't see it. Like, that made me just keep going, you know? And I think if the family was supportive and everyone was supportive, I think I'd be like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's a saying, if you tell someone your dream and they believe it, it's the wrong dream.
100%.
You know, like there
Like,
used to be
yeah.
some.
And like I remember, like when I released my first Batali, like to us, like to a Western world, like if I told you, hey, I made a song called Unemployed, you need to be like, yeah, cool. Like to my parents, that was like a no.
Yeah.
Like they were like, yo, take this video out now. You know,
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna go to jail.
disrespectful,
You're
yeah.
crazy. Like how can you just make fun of being unemployed, like, stuff like that, you know? Because people are used to being. Yeah, and as soon as someone get out of it, even as simple as saying, "Yeah, I'm unemployed," can be a bit taboo to a lot.
Now it's a little bit more open than it was
100%.
before. But I get you. Like
100%.
before,
Like I'm telling you, like now my mom, like when she see Maria's music, like yeah.
So when did it change?
I think
things just happen over time, you know.
for my parents, I think when my other cousins start calling my mom, telling her, yo, this guy's fucking making numbers, you know? This guy's performing this, like, and like my little cousin start singing along to my track. That was the first thing. To be like, okay, all right, it's not a bum, you know? Like, I think that was the first thing. You're just getting acceptance from other siblings.
Yeah,
It's weird.
it's
It's a
funny.
weird, bro, it's just a weird, like, I think that every family has this strong belief of you're gonna be someone crazy when you grow up, you know? Although I didn't have anything to make me that crazy, a professional in my career, you know?
But you know, I mean, I suppose it's for all you guys, because I mean, in your respective fields, you guys are very relevant names and have done very impactful things. But have you all ever had moments within your career where you're just like, I'm that guy, I'm the one doing this? Like, am I like that sense of like almost imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
With what you're doing.
All the time, every time at the end of at the end of something big, my wife's ready for that shrink session. I would be like, really? We pulled that off? You know, and yeah, I guess that's what keeps us grounded.
100%.
And that's what keeps us pure
Yeah.
in what we do.
I don't. I just let it sit there. Because I feel like, especially when you're into comedy, your insecurity is your best weapon. Because like, and coming to terms with that, you know, like I have had people come to be like, yeah, you make jokes because you're insecure. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and what? You're not insecure, bitch? Like, we're all sitting. The only difference between me and you is that I know how to vocalize it. I'm comfortable with my insecurity. Like, I'm okay wearing it because like I grew up a little bit rough. So like, I'm okay with the discomfort, you know, like I'm comfortable with discomfort to some level. And as a comic, you need to understand that there's an exchange. Like, you're taking people's attention, you're taking people's time, you have to return something back. And performers, you know the same thing. Like, you can only give as much energy as you can receive. Yeah. So if you're not in the right state, you either are overwhelmed or underwhelmed, and you can't return that energy back.
100%.
So for me, like, I just let it be there because I know it's a part of my identity. Like, who is Shawn? Shawn has a lot of insecurities that he hasn't worked on. This is a method of dealing with it, or this is a method of communicating
Always
it.
cathartic, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, you have to be self-critical because you have to be able to take and identify as well. If you can't be self-critical, you can't identify someone else's critical, like their flaws, for example. So when you're on stage, you need to be able to kind of like bounce off that, and like, you know, you need to be able to shit on someone but allow them to shit on you at the same time. There's a bit of an exchange.
So well,
100%.
But you know, when it comes to these insecurities, like obviously, like the moment you feel this insecurity, you're not like, I'm ready to make a fucking joke. Like there's a process of like, God damn, like I'm feeling this.
It depends on what's happening. It depends on the level of insecurity. If it's something that's like not too deep, I'm immediately like, but my first reaction is to laugh. I don't know if it's a healthy thing, but it's like my first reaction is just to laugh. And I think everyone in the creative spectrum has that version. Some people want to eat, some people want to cook, some people want to sing, some people want to cry. And like, it's a different reaction. And based on how you react, I think that's what you channel into creatively. So
I also think the most specific things are the most universal things. Like even what you were talking about, the food that you make is so authentic to where you're from. And that's why it connects, because there's something so specific about that flavor and the things that went into that. Similar with like when you write a lyric that is extremely specific to you, somehow it's much more
relatable
universal.
to everyone, yeah.
Or, you know, the kind of stuff you do where it's so specific to cultural things, and it's bloody hilarious because it's so specific. And I think that is very interesting, that the more specific you are, the more universal.
that's a really good point. I never actually thought of it like that. But yeah, it's a really good fucking point. I did a video recently of like a sewing kit. Sorry, not sewing kit. Sorry,
8 people sent me that video. 8 people, bro.
The video is basically me like doing this like skit. I'm in the supermarket and my friend goes like, "Oh, can you give me a sewing kit?" And I give him like a cookie box. because you know how everyone's grandma had like the sewing kit inside the cookie box. And then we had people like showing love, like people sending me messages like, "Yo, in Mexico we have the same thing, in Ecuador the same thing, in India we have the same thing." In Spain, like people like all over the world. And I was like, they're very, and that's so true. Like a specific niche that you think is just about you goes to everyone.
Does your mom ever like buy ice cream containers and then put random shit inside ice cream containers?
We like also like when we grew up here. We grew up in Sharjah.
Bro, it's that
That's
definition
trauma,
of like
bro.
recycling back in the day.
Bro, you know how disappointed I would be opening the freezer, ice cream box, and there's chicken curry in that joint?
And then when you finally find ice cream in there, you're like, yo, we made it.
Who left this? Who are we keeping this for? Which guest left this?
My
No,
mom used to take my old shirts and fucking clean the AC with
Bro, it's the best thing to clean the floor.
Bro, straight away. It's like, do you want this? Like, no.
Yeah, literally.
It's straight away.
You ever have the plastic bags with more plastic bags on the back of the kitchen door? It's the same thing.
How could we throw plastic bags out?
Yeah.
You leave your plastic bags under the sink?
Yeah. They're all bundled up together.
I still do.
They're all bundled up together.
Yeah,
Like, you need plastic bags for your plastic bags. Simple.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, JP. Check this out. I got an idea for you. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, fuck that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm totally.
Yeah, enough is enough.
Check this out, because I was just having. It's one. How about this? Okay. I come to a restaurant. You give me food. Right. I eat it.
And I leave.
Say thank you. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
No. I was just gonna say. I was
That's
just
the idea.
I was just waiting for the right moment. I want to invite everyone, and then we can carry on this
Have you
conversation.
ever had this food?
Oh, yeah.
No, I really like just sit down, relax, and it's a journey.
Man, I'm so down. It's really cool, like, what you've done with this space in terms of, like, maintaining that authenticity to, like, towards, like, the Philippines and, like, showcasing, like, the story through the whole space.
Yeah.
Was that, like, a thing you consciously did? Where, like, I wanted to showcase Philippines through what I'm doing?
Yeah, especially there in Al Serkal, because we wanted to be imperfect, because everything here in Dubai is perfect.
Yeah.
Right? And then so it was a very we thought hard about what we wanted to achieve, and I'm glad everyone seemed to appreciate it.
You had lines. I remember when they're like, you need to go to Kuya, and people were sending me messages on Instagram, and physically when I was in Circle, I was like, you need to go, and I did go, but the line was massive. So I was like, one day.
I couldn't believe it as well. It was funny. So our designer, she flew in to help us, because we only had one shot to make that impression, right? And then so she flew in, she fixed it up, and she was so happy with the outcome that she called her husband. She said, "All right, I can't describe this to you, what we're doing here. So I just sent you a plane ticket. You're coming in tomorrow."
Whoa.
Yeah. So when the husband showed up the next day, the guy Carlo goes, "I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm glad I'm here."
Holy shit.
It was even for her. She doesn't even own the restaurant, but for her, it was also like, it was self-expression.
Yeah.
And then for us seeing you guys appreciate it, it was just like the biggest joy. Like we play it safe. We're a creature of habits. We stay within the same clique, the same community, right? If you've noticed, and also I guess we're somehow shy still. We need that push. I mean, we're friendly, we're accommodating, but we're not accommodating enough for other cultures. To try our food especially. So we're kind of like, oh crap,
Did that just happen?
oh,
That was such a riveting story, dog.
but yeah. So
With so much food content now, or like shows like MasterChef, or there's this weird show on Netflix, which is like £1 Million Menu. So I watch all these shows, and there's so many people from the Philippines now doing these pop-ups and introducing the world to those flavors.
right.
It's really interesting to see that happen, especially growing up here and being aware of that culture.
Right.
And now seeing that on a world stage is pretty cool. Is that cool for you too to see?
Yeah. I mean, I actually just came from a little, not a little. We call it a little world tour because we started in New York, Mexico, and then ended our trip in Houston.
No.
And it was all like it was all pop-ups. So I collaborated with a chef in New York and then in Mexico, and ended our trip in Houston. And it's so cool that everyone's just like collaborating,
Yeah.
and supporting each other. Also, I noticed here in Dubai, well, I'm quite new here, but when you go to these top restaurants, you'll see like the brigade or the team would be mostly Filipinos.
Yeah.
The top, I mean, there are a lot of really good baristas here, like what you guys said, stylists, artists, but then they're not doing our own. It's always someone else's cuisine that they're doing.
True. That's a good point.
So whenever they walk into the restaurant, I would really see the invisible scratch in their head. Like, why aren't we cooking Filipino food?
Yeah.
So I guess that's sort of like my role, to just push people or inspire more people to embrace our culture and not be shy anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for all of you, I mean, including you, like you guys all started getting into your careers was just working on the craft, to cook, to write jokes, to write music, to DJ. But like the more you get into it, the more like, yes, the craft is just as important, but also now an added element is you have to be a business person. You have to be an entrepreneur along with your craft. Is that like how do you balance those two things?
Well, me personally, my wife is a good equalizer because I'm the
Enough. What your dynamic is actually.
yeah. So I'm obviously we're all left brains, right? I mean, sorry, right brains. We're all right brains.
Yeah,
We're all
creative
just
is the right.
creative.
Namdi is no
emotion.
brain right now. He's like, I was thinking left eye. He's like,
I thought the creative was a left,
No.
Oh, right.
right? Fair enough.
And then my wife is super left, so we balance each other out.
Amazing.
And yeah, I guess to answer your question, having the right partners, the right team with you, because you can't do it alone. I mean, Jokoy, right? He has his sister.
Mm.
And I met her, and she's the rock.
Yeah.
She's the brains behind everything. She arranges everything. You don't see her, but she's there.
She's the one
And-
handling business.
Yeah, and then you have his team that's also aligned with him, and they share the same values and all that. And also, I guess, I mean, I met the guy and I was like, wow, that's why he's great.
I was gonna ask you that. I mean, like you've cooked for a lot of VIPs and a lot of people like Jokoy. I mean, to me, Jokoy, like I think what you're doing with Kuya in Dubai was showcasing the culture and like having everyone indulge in the culture is kind of what Jokoy is doing within this album. So it must have been crazy to meet him and see,
Yeah.
what he's been doing as well. But
Yeah.
what do you think? Who do you think rather is the one person that you've cooked for that was just wow?
Anthony Bourdain.
Oh my God.
That is
Holy
crazy.
crap.
Yeah, I mean,
Anthony Bourdain.
That's just shit.
What the fuck? Really? Well, that guy was my hero. Or still is. But
That he is one of your idols, is he not?
yeah, that's why everything I do is sort of like an inspiration from what he did. I mean, I want to get teary-eyed now, but yeah, I mean, he always championed the little people. He put Filipino food on the map. He introduced our cuisine to the world. He validated that our food is good enough, for everyone. Also, yeah, what he did is just so sincere and so passionate, and he doesn't give a flying fuck of what other people think, and I think that's the most important thing. He was just so pure and honest, and that's a trait I really admire.
What was it like meeting him for the first time? What
It's like meeting
what?
God of food. Yeah, and it's just crazy. Here's the craziest part. So, a few months ago, we were cooking at this random house in Manila, and one of the uncles, one of the titos, goes, "Oh, you guys are chefs? I have a knife here of Anthony Bourdain." I'm like, we're like, what? Yeah, I have 2 knives. We're like, show us. Then we're like, and how did you get this knife? Long story, that is the house of Anthony Bourdain's nanny of 8 years,
Holy.
right? And then so we look at the knife and we're like, Uncle, do you know that this is like, put it this way, imagine Michael Jordan's first shoe. This is the knife. So keep it, please.
Yeah.
Fast forward again, I met Myra, the nanny. I met her in New York, and we just had a long conversation. And she said, you know, if Mr. B was still here, he'd really like you. And I cried when she said that, and she gave me his knife.
Oh.
Yeah, and a book. And I told her, hey, you know, maybe one of these days. And you know, Myra was the one who introduced Anthony Bourdain to Jollibee. That's why.
No way.
Yeah. That's why the Bourdain loves Jollibee. I mean, like-
Everyone loves Jollibee. Honestly. Everyone loves Jollibee. You
and
can't
then
go
the
wrong.
daughter of Anthony Bourdain, and she's American. And from what Myra was saying, like on her birthday, she would request for Jollibee, not like
That's crazy.
a barbecue from, you know, not an American meal, but because she took care. So
I
I
had
guess
a birthday
we're
in Jollibee's when I was a kid.
you too.
Yeah, and then honestly, like, there's a picture of me in like the party hat and like the burger, like.
Doing the accent and everything.
Yeah. But you know, I was thinking about that. Sorry to cut you off.
No, we're good.
But your accents and like your materials, your Filipino accent, I won't lie, it's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Right? But your shit's very, it's like borderline about to offend someone.
It always does. It's always gonna offend someone.
But how do you deal with that? Because like the cancel culture today is.
It's tough. Yeah. You're treading the fine line at all times. And the one thing I have a point of doing is making sure I don't do. So here's the thing. My page is less about accents and more about a character. So everyone, like every character I have is based on like a combination of people, a mixture of like people I met, people I watched, people I grew up with.
Yeah.
And so I create these characters, and these characters embody persona. So what I do is I do a character, and that character has a accent or a personality trait. So I make it a point that I don't do a character that I can't do right. So I attempted to do like a Nigerian character a while ago. I didn't like it. And then the people who were giving me validation weren't Nigerian. So I was like, all right, I'm going to stop. So I didn't like it. So if I get validated by the people who are from the culture, then I know I'm going the right path. And it's usually people I've grown up with or places I've visited or
Experiences of you.
cultures that I've been like close with.
Yeah.
So as long as I keep moving down that line, it's safe, because you can see that the content isn't meant to offend. You can see the content is like, it's a character doing his character things. It's not a stereotypical thing being done through a character. Now, there are moments where that obviously can interweave, which is bound to happen because a character will do things that are part of that norm. But yeah, I definitely know how like people perceive the content, and like the first thing that someone can slap on is like racism, because that's the easiest blanket. But when you look at the construct of racism, it's a completely different thing. If anything, you want to go towards like prejudice, because racism is like acting on a belief, you know, so like not hiring someone or purposely doing something or behaving in a manner that's like a predisposition based on someone's race or culture or ethnicity. So that's racism, right? But doing characters and personifying that character's idea rather than a stereotypical idea is the separation. But that's when you go too deep into it. No one looks in that level. They usually look at the superficial. They're like, oh, he's doing an Indian accent, he's doing a Filipino accent, he's doing an Iranian accent, he's doing where is he from? With the second you tell them where you're from, then it becomes racist. But up until then, it's entertaining. So people want to attack you as soon as they hear it and they don't understand it. But the best part is that the people who usually are doing the poking and prodding are from none of the cultures. It's usually people from America, like English people. It's usually some Arabic people who have studied in the West for a while. That's the backlash I've only gotten. So
you've got backlash before?
not severe backlash, but like there are people who don't like the content, which is fine because not everyone's gonna like what you do.
But have there been like Indians being like, "Why the fuck are you using the Indian accent?"
But that's the thing.
Filipinos being like, "How can you use it?"
But the thing is, I have a day job, right? Like I actually work. So
I actually work.
no, because people think like I'm a marketing director for a software company, does inventory management software. Yeah, it's very out of pocket.
Bro,
compared to-
let me ask you something. Like at this company,
yeah.
do they just like
Yes, they know, and like
No,
I do meetings with characters. Like
stop?
Yeah.
They
Well,
tell you. They
it's
tell
my
you. To?
persona. It's I can't fake it. I tried to separate corporate from like my
You're the
character.
most loved person at work.
Boy, most
I can
fucking
be very
annoying.
annoying.
Yeah.
Yes, I can be very annoying. Like,
I'd be like, "Yo, shut the fuck up and answer his questions."
there's a serious meeting, and then I'll just flip it. Like I'll do like this Egyptian accent where I confuse. Like I don't answer the question at all. So and it's like, but that's a part of my character, and I realized I only excelled in both careers when I started being myself. When I was trying to be the suit and tie like official thing.
They work. Bro, I can
Didn't
just
work out.
imagine him on a Zoom call, dude, no camera on, and just every time he unmutes his mic, dog, it's a different accent.
I used to be my own assistant for 2 years. I used to be my own assistant. I'm no jokes.
That's a good answer for the entrepreneur artist. But
Wait, what you mean? What you mean? Like, so she would call your phone, like, give him.
She would get Ahmed. Yes, hello, how are you?
very well. Who is this?
Is
What
this is
going
Ahmed?
on?
I am Mr. Schwen's assistant.
Bruh.
Twins.
Yes.
assistant?
Shawn Chidiac.
Sure.
Shwen, he's my boss. If you need a message, I put your name now and I contact him later for a meeting, inshallah. I know that's me. And now I really have some superiority. Because I was in sales. I was in marketing sales for a long time. People don't want to talk to you when you're trying to call up the line. But when you call and be like, yeah, you have a meeting with Mr. Shawn, but his assistant is calling you, all of a sudden you're like, what? Why is his assistant calling? There's all of a sudden now some juice to you. Like you want to understand who is
I've
this?
done this for writing to get gigs and stuff.
Yeah.
where
You
just pretend to be your own.
because immediately it gives you a little bit more of a buffer and you can be a little bit more rubbed. Yeah.
Powerful tool, man.
Yeah, so as long as you can leverage it. But yeah, the worst backlash I got is just like random hate. Like the worst thing someone said to me was kill yourself, you're not funny.
Oh.
But I was like, I grew up with some like messed up people. So I was like, at least make it like hurt, like hit home in a different way, like kill myself. Be clever. Tell me how. You know, like, be descriptive. Like if I'm a real comic, I need to take that like to the chin, you know? So I don't get fazed by shit like that. It does affect you obviously because you're human and no one's an iron, like you can't just stand there like an iron wall. But like at least make it creative. It annoyed me, but it didn't hurt. What annoys me is when people go like, this is offensive. Because I'm not trying to offend. In the end of the day, the goal isn't to offend. The goal is to connect and to make people laugh. I will do comedy till I die because I want people to laugh. And that's what I grew up on, and I want to reciprocate what I grew up on. So that the shit when people say it offends, that's when it plays a little bit tricky with me because I don't know if I should ignore it or take it into heart because everyone has a valid point, but at some point you have to understand you have your own goal and your own career. And if I hurt one person for every 100, I have to take that statistic.
Bro, you know, like I was watching sorry, we're boring you.
A little bit.
Yeah, I was watching the interview that you've done, and you said that that it's all started from like when you used to make your mom
My
laugh.
mom, yeah.
Was that moment when you realized that you could take this persona to other people?
No, it was just from my mom. My mom brought it to other people. There was a show called Mind Your Language.
Yes.
So there was like, yeah. You know when you grow up on
Like
it,
you
like you
pissed your
didn't
mouth.
realize, like you don't realize, like so. It was just doing like I just remember I would try to hear something and I would try to do the English accent of the host. It's terrible. I'd have a terrible English accent, but like my mom used to laugh at it like all the time because I would do. It's not just the accent. It was like the
Body
mannerism,
language
yeah.
and everything.
Because he used to like be like this busy Englishman with a suit, kind of like he's helping everyone, but he's kind of like, you know, he's trying to be that.
Above them?
Yeah. So I would do that like weird thing where I would like walk with papers and like when she would ask me a question, I would pause and look at her like, why? Why do you want to know that? Like, you know, I'd pause and so it's more of like the whole caricature version of these characters.
Yeah.
So and my mom used to be like when her friends would come over, like most people do, like, come do the joke for them, make them laugh, you know, and I'd be standing there like not knowing what to say, but that's my mom kind of put it onto other people. It wasn't really me. I just the jokes were just from my mom. But she used to bring me out and make me do it for like friends and family, and then it kind of like branched out into me doing it with friends. And then fast forward 15 years later, social media is a thing, and I'm like, I'll try it out.
Social media is a thing.
Social media is a thing. It wasn't a thing. Well, there was MySpace. MySpace was the shit for me. I was like, like MySpace.
Yeah, but did that change your careers, you think? Social media?
100%. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
You're talking about like, now you're talking about old stories about no one documented the shit that was going on here. Simply like, you just needed a camera.
Facts.
That's all you needed. And
Facts.
we have that now on like a steroid level of content, you know?
True. I mean, clearly.
It's a double-edged sword though, because often it's like you see so much on social and you kind of start to think, what's the use of me? You know, you're just like, there's so much stuff out.
Goes back into like the imposter syndrome of like,
Yeah, exactly. And you
100%.
question why exactly there needs to be one more person putting stuff out. But then you do, you know, you have those moments where you have like shows, or you have certain days where you're like, oh, your perspective on that particular subject matters. And you have to remind yourself of that, though. It's not easy because you get lost in all the noise of everybody doing the same thing, and everyone's production quality is amazing. And, you know, like one of the things that the podcast things that you guys do, which is like a parody, the most brilliant part about that is that podcasts actually look like everybody's podcast. Exactly. The
You know what's
same.
funny? It's just phones.
Yeah.
It's just our phones and like really shitty mics. Like it's just phones. There's no production. It's 2 tripods from Amazon, 90 dirhams. Like it's connected to like a small recorder that I have.
Yeah.
And it's his phone and my phone. And then we just put the clips on
Isn't that
CapCut.
concerning?
So and like this,
Really.
that's the thing. We really wanted to take the standard everyone has a podcast thing and just really like fuck with people to the point where they don't know, is it satire? Are these guys this fucking stupid? Because in no sense, and the best part is that everyone wants to make sense of it in their own way. Some people go like, no, this actually does make sense. And someone's like, they're talking about, when you put green food coloring into water, it's gonna be green. So what's the message here? So you really get to see humanity at its like lowest and best.
And then you gotta add the serious music in the
And
background.
especially when I do the Egyptian, like I'm not making sense of it. Like, why'd you move from London to Dubai? And all of a sudden I'm saying I don't have shoes. Like, I'm saying everything and nothing at the same time, and it's just enough to get the people like going. So I opened the door for a little bit of hate too, because you need it. You need a bit of friction to start fire, you know. So, and the only difference is, do you have enough skin on you to take the hits, and do you have enough energy and heart to keep doing it? Because consistency is the only difference between me and the next guy and the next, you know. It's and those and I think when Nipsey Hussle just died, there was an album he just released, and the intro of his song, he says the only difference between me and the other motherfucker is that I kept doing this. Like, I was like, I want to be the motherfucker. That's it. It's just consistency.
That's
You know,
cool, man.
I was doing a little bit of research before coming in here.
Little bit.
Yeah, crazy.
How dare you?
You there? Are you around?
I'm here.
Okay.
In the midst of me doing this little bit of research, I was watching this interview that you did, and you said that you create to connect. What the hell does that mean?
That's beautiful, though. I don't even know.
It sounds so beautiful.
Yeah. Please expound.
I think because like if you were to think about it, you don't have to do it for other people, right? Like you can just write at home, you can cook for your family, you can make jokes for your mom, and that could be enough. But there's obviously something that compels you to put it out for a larger audience, because you want to connect, you want to have, you want to relate with another human through your art, and that always motivates me to write, because it is very easy to just be like, oh, this is a good song, and just play for a few friends and be done. But that's not enough for me, and I want to do it for as many people as I can. And what's funny about it is, the thing about consistency is that a lot of my friends, when we started out at the same time, have now completely gone a different direction in the space of creativity, in the space of music, but not exactly doing the thing that they said they would do. And I often think to myself, I must be insane for continuing to do this, to think that this could actually be something. But I think that's the thing. It's like, I want to connect with as many people as I possibly can, because I believe that is what I'm here to do on this planet. So, and if I don't believe that, then why am I doing it? Why bother? So yeah.
sometimes it's as simple as that. You know, so when you're trying to overthink, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just connecting.
Maybe if I had to do one thing differently, I would have started earlier or stayed more consistent, but I would change nothing. Because I had to learn, and I did some dumb shit, which is probably going to bite me in the ass, like, in the future.
What'd you do?
Some dumb shit, like, real, like, none of you would want me sitting here. Like, if you found out, it's like,
Whoa.
no, it's not that bad. But, like, yeah, I've done some stupid shit, and it's just because my character is very open, my character is very, like, fuck it, do it now, see later, like, but the only thing I probably would change is being more consistent. Like, when I had linked up with Namdi, like, a couple of years ago, I was telling him, like, the one thing I would want to do is be more consistent.
Yeah.
Because with consistency, you see growth in your own, forget, like, numbers. You see growth with yourself. You start finding out what you like, what you don't like, what's easy to do, what's hard to do, what means more. So I think consistency would be the only thing I would change, doing it more. A friend of mine who asked me if I wanted to do a show here because he's been doing things here for a while. And they said, yeah. So they designed the flyer, send it to me. And then I posted it up, I think, either like Friday night or Saturday night at like 7. And then I got a call like 2 hours later saying that I was sold out immediately. And I was like, it's not a huge room. It's about 100 seats. So it's not crazy. But
Good room.
I like intimate settings. And I still don't believe it. I think that they're just like lying to me for like
It's
marketing.
gassing you up.
I feel like it because there's like, that's my insecurity that no one wants to come see me that eagerly. Like I'm not convinced about that yet. And obviously when I tell my mom, she's like, yes, what's wrong with you? Like, my mom's always going to be like,
You're the best.
not even, she's like upset with you. If you're like A, there is A plus. There's always like one more higher. So, yeah, so I still, till now, I'm not sure, but then I ran into the guy actually at the same time, like, and his name is Akawi, you know. But I keep saying the guy, like disrespecting his name, but fuck that guy. And I ran into him in the lobby. He's like, okay, let's go up and see. We need to change the venue because it doesn't fit the people anymore. Which is ridiculous.
That's nuts.
And it's like really nerve-wracking as well because like I don't prepare for shows. I can't write. You were saying earlier, like when you prepare when you write songs, when you write jokes, I'm like, I can't write. Like,
So you just walk around and just everything just funny.
no, it doesn't. That's the thing. It's a hit or miss, right? Not everyone's gonna find it funny. Like some people take things very personally. Some people are like, that's not funny.
But I'm saying in your brain, like
Yeah.
when you walk around, you just see funny shit.
No, it's a very dark place in my head. It comes out with light because I don't want to bring darkness out in the world. I have enough darkness in. So when you're with a community of people, you're sitting with 2 people, 3 people, 100 people. What's the point of feeding more into that? Everyone has darkness in their head. So you don't want to contribute to their darkness. You want to contribute to the 1% of light that can expand a little bit. Even if I take 30 seconds of someone's light and make it bigger for a bit, that's the goal. So, and that's what we all have. We all have something in us that we're trying to feed more than the other. Whether it's literally feeding someone and activating that, like, I'm back home, or writing lyrics that make people feel like they're heard and seen by someone who they don't even know.
So how do you do it? You feed off people's energy?
Yeah, it takes a little bit to go, but like you're with a room of people and you're talking. In conversation, it's easy because it's a lot of back and forth. And someone will say like, oh, the plant, and then you have something to talk about the plant. But when you're doing stand-up, you have to let people feel like there's a conversation going, which is hard because everyone's kind of like tight. Some people are too confident and they try to take they want to be on stage, and then you're like, calm down. Like you have to also let a person speak, but also realize that there's 99 other people who want to see something else.
So is crowd work? Your show is crowd work?
It's storytelling and crowd work. I have like enough shit in my in my years so far to keep going. That's the beauty of it. When you don't write material, you're almost allowing yourself to constantly be
It's
intake, outtake,
nerve-wracking,
intake,
though.
out. It is, which is why I didn't do shows so.
You're like, that's why I don't do it anymore.
That's why I didn't do it for a while. And like the last show I did when I was in uni, it was in my head it was the best show I ever did, and I had a lot of love, a lot of feedback. And then most of the comics there were just shitting on me the whole time, and it put me off doing comedy for a long time. And it hit my insecurity too hard, like right on the nail was hit right on the head for me to not do stand up for like 6 years. And then I got back into it because I was like, fuck it, what's the word? Like, if I get booed off stage or no one laughs, whatever, fine. That's like what you need to get comfortable. Because I realized my comfort was when I was okay being me on stage and I wasn't trying to make people laugh. I was just doing my thing and just trying to see. So it takes a little bit of time to build up, and I'm still learning that now. But yeah, it's just me talking about like childhood stories, my fucked up family, because everyone has a fucked up family. and then we're riffing on stage, and then having people, and then just assessing the room. Because when you assess the room, that's the rawest version. That's when people really feel like, oh, we're all in this. This is exclusive, because you can't make this up. Because when you tell a story, the first thing people go is, did that really happen? Is that real? That's the first thing people ask you. But when you're doing shit on the spot, there's no question, because you can see it's happening in live. It wasn't in English. In live. You see my Arabic, my brain gets cross-wired with all the personas.
Speaking about different languages, it's a crazy transition, but you do sing, like you sing in 3 different languages.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Is it?
That's impressive.
I can barely speak English.
That's true. And you can't eat either.
We went so long without pointing out that I dropped it on
I
you.
couldn't help myself.
Like, do you see, like, is there a difference when you tap into other, like, do you feel like you can express yourself more now that you know other languages, you can sing other languages?
No, I think some things are just great in some languages. There is something very beautiful, nuanced about language that, that whole idea of things getting lost in translation is true. And you have to respect a sentiment for what it is, and that how beautiful can it sound in a particular language. Sometimes English just doesn't do it. Sometimes Hindi doesn't do it. It has to be, Tamil is my native language, and some things just come to me in that language. So I think it's kind of blasphemous to like then translate it and then translate it again. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think I also grew up feeling like Indian languages aren't cool, right? So there's such a thing around brown culture where it's like, oh, being Indian is not cool. You can't, even going to an Indian school, you have to sing like English songs to be the cool kid. And for me, like I grew up so Indian. My parents are so very much like, my dad has Carnatic classical concerts all the way from the 50s, like bootleg concerts.
Really?
Till like recently. So that's all we heard everywhere, in the car, at home, every day, all day, morning, noon, and night. That was it, whether we liked it or not. So for me, that was my education. It was everything to me. And, it gets under your skin, right, after a while. So I don't deny that part of myself. And I think that is the biggest service I've done to myself as an artist. Is like, write what you know, write what you feel, and try to be true to that. Because, we all grew up doing things for our families. So for me, it was always like performing for my friends and my family. And when they light up, I feel like, oh, I'm doing something great. And it's like, okay, if they like it, then maybe one more person will. So it's just that. I think it's just staying true to what you know and not try to fit yourself into some mold, because what's the fucking point of that? Like, be yourself, right? There's only one you. If there's other people, they're all taken. So just be you. So I think it's that.
Like, I mean, I don't know if you felt this, but like growing, like you do have this kind of sense as a brown person, or like as a colored person, to have to fit this certain mold and have to like, and for some reason there's this concept of like of hierarchy almost, and so as an Indian or as a brown person, like you're almost taught that like you're at the bottom of the what's the word?
Yeah.
Food chain. Thank you. But I think now, like being in the industry that we're in, and like seeing so many like people in the fashion industry, like brown people in the fashion industry, in the creative space, artists, like it's so eye-opening, and it's so dope to see so much representation now. I think that's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, that's what we need. I mean, you're not wrong. I feel like as a person, I just like things to be fair, So now I make a joke where like I'm like, now white they don't love white models anymore. White models. I always make that joke, but I feel like with the representation that we do, this is very important, because for a long time, everything was really westernized, and that was the cool thing, and that was the thing you needed to try and be like. So now when we're appreciating our cultures and trying to be who we are, it's beautiful, but doesn't mean we should like shit on those people.
Bro, just today before coming here, like I was talking to this lady, and she was asking me about Karak Nights and all that, and she was like, you know, she was this brown girl as well from this fashion industry. She's like, you know, it's so cool. It's so cool that it's two brown dudes and a guy with dreads running this whole operation. And like at first I was like I don't want it to be that, but also at the same time, it's pretty fucking cool.
Like, why the fuck not?
Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. No, because like I don't want it to be about like who's running it and like you know
But it's
what
not.
race
I
we
don't
are.
see it
It's
as that at
irrelevant.
all.
I guess
I
in
don't see it
life,
as that.
race always comes up in life, and I get it. Like that's the way life is. People comment on what they see. Sometimes you just have to agree that whatever it is, what life is. Like we can try our best to be like, oh, race doesn't matter. I mean, for us it might not, but for the fucking rest of the world, it does. You know what I
But
mean?
also, it doesn't even matter. But it's still like
It's still just there.
like
you know?
there was like an article that I was like on, and the first thing they put was like Canadian Lebanese comic, and I was like, I'm not Canadian. Like number, I don't know where that came in.
First and foremost.
Yeah, I was like, that's not it. But
That used to piss me. Sorry.
yeah, but that's it. That's it. Like I was like, but there's like, just remove it.
Yeah.
That is
But
more, like,
that used
quickly
to
skip.
piss me off so
It
much.
doesn't piss me off, but it just makes me go like, that's unnecessary. Like where am I from doesn't matter. What do I do? What am I doing is what matters.
Yeah,
So-
bro. I used to get so mad when people were like, Indian basketball player from it, like
Just
what's it gonna do with
basketball
my
player.
basketball,
Just
dog?
basketball
Like I'm gonna come and just piss me off. Like,
It's weird. It's weird that the world operates like that.
yeah.
yeah.
I never got it, but
If you look at a lot of news articles in general, like how the media is published, the ethnicity comes first. And it's especially when you go into like terror media, it's always like Muslim terrorist or Libyan terrorist
the guy-
or
the guy-
Nigerian. It's like,
they gotta tell you who's fucking up.
yeah.
They gotta know who's fucking up right now.
But you know, like I feel like with like Indians, like I mean, at least for me, I did notice that like in the teams that I was playing in, they would use Indian basketball player a lot because of like the marketing opportunity, because we're 1.6 fucking billion of us, and so that's just
They're trying to tap into.
yeah, exactly. So whether I'm absolute doo doo or like I'm fucking great, it's irrelevant. It's the fact that I'm Indian,
Yeah.
which will sell, because at least if like quarter of the 1.6 billion tap in, we good. We up.
My old law professor used to say one thing: if you want to be like a billionaire, create a product for $1 and sell it to everyone in China. Simple. Yeah. So that is like the general notion of
We
like
might have started a whole bunch of new business plans right now. To people's heads, dog.
fucking patented.
All right, I think we gotta call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a
You have a way to end it? Is that what you're...
how you ended?
No,
your
it's gonna
story?
fade out in black.
Just slowly fade
Yeah.
away. What if I just like show my ass quickly? Like,
Real quick. in the white one.
It's a conversation that is actually dope. These are dope, you know, getting to know new people and just talking.